Thanks.
And for more on this, I want to bring in Ambassador Alexander Vershbow. He's a former U.S. ambassador to South Korea, as well as NATO and Russia, and now a distinguished fellow at the Atlantic Council. Thank you so much for joining us. Just a few months ago, just about everybody thought North Korea would never give up their nukes. It was a matter of regime survival. What changed?
Well, it's not clear anything has changed. As you were just hearing from your reporter, the definition of denuclearization in this agreement is completely unclear. So it's certainly encouraging that the two Koreas are looking to de-escalate tensions between them and maybe even carry out some concrete steps that could improve the lives of people in North Korea. But when it comes to denuclearization, which is what the United States is interested in, we don't know if there's anything new here. So the stakes are still very high for the summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un.
Well, President Trump says, oh, no, it's different this time. We're not being played. How and when will we know if he's right? What are the signs we look for?
Well, hopefully we'll know before we firm up the date for this U.S.-North Korean summit.
So that would be very soon. How would we find that out in the next couple of weeks?
Well, we need to do some serious diplomatic spade work in the time remaining, just as we saw Mike Pompeo go and make a secret visit to North Korea. Now that he's Secretary of State, I think he needs to focus his calendar on some preliminary meetings with the North Koreans, also get a working level team so that we can parse out what they really mean and what they don't mean, and so we don't walk into the room and get surprised, because the president will walk out if he thinks he's being played, but that would be a big setback.
But you're saying he shouldn't even walk in unless he knows he's not being played.
Well, it's easy for me to say, but I would say don't set a final date or place for this meeting until you've done some more preparation. That's always a good diplomatic nostrum, and as a professional diplomat, I would do that first.
Your caution noted. Let's assume for a second that this is a meaningful progression. How much credit does China get? How much credit does the president get?
I think the president deserves a lot of credit. This pressure campaign that he talks about has been quite significant. It's been much tighter sanctions than any previous administration has applied. And of course, he got the Chinese to do much more than they've been willing to do. I think the saber rattling, which may have been a bit unnerving for a lot of people, may have also scared both the North Koreans and the Chinese into getting more serious about sanctions in the Chinese case and denuclearization in the North's case. But Kim Jong-un isn't going to give up those nuclear weapons lightly, and I know the administration wants to see a process that is completed in 6 months to a year. So there may be a big gap going in, and we better know what we have in store for us before getting all the red carpets rolled out.
There was this emphasis on the fact that Koreans can work this out themselves. As a U.S. diplomat, does that concern you at all about the U.S. role and the U.S. influence in these discussions?
Yeah. Well, of course, when it comes to the Korean nation and the whole question of improved relations and even possible unification, it's ultimately up to them. But the nuclear issue is something that affects international peace and stability, so we have a stake in it. But more importantly, I think the South Koreans know that they're not going to solve the nuclear issue by themselves. And that's one reason why this inter-Korean summit didn't get very specific, because the North Koreans know that they have to deal directly with the United States on this. But the declaration that they put out today uses a lot of old-fashioned language, which sounds nice on the surface, but raises a lot of suspicions that they're not serious about denuclearization. So again, we really need to start preparing the ground and talking, face to face with responsible North Korean leaders, so that this doesn't collapse and we miss an opportunity. There's a real opportunity here, but we got to be very careful going into that summit meeting.
And what I think I hear you saying is this is kind of a black or white issue. They either denuclearize, as we understand it, or they don't. Is that basically Trump's main or even only objective here? And if it is, what would you be willing to give away in exchange for that? Because obviously there are some big things the North will be asking of us.
Yeah. Well, I think we should be prepared to give them a lot if they're serious about real denuclearization, which means handing over to the International Atomic Energy Agency or destroying under verification the actual warheads, the ICBMs and other delivery systems, and the infrastructure with which they can produce the nuclear material. If they do all that over a relatively rapid period of time. We should give them economic aid. We should sign a peace treaty. We should normalize relations and open an embassy. And what's interesting is Kim Jong-un may actually be different than his father and his grandfather. He may actually put a higher priority on economic improvement for his own people. He's certainly talking a good game on that. So he may realize that this is his best opportunity with a president who's prepared to be tough, even use force if it comes to that. Maybe now is the time to cash in his chips. So that's what we have to test, but not get fooled by vague formulations as we've seen today.
Okay, Ambassador Alexander Vershbow, thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome.
The House Intelligence Committee